All right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Tahoe's fabulous stream. Um, I am live from New York, and my apologies. I am going to be driving, so this may be a pretty quick stream, and I don't have the best way of managing comments and everything here. So maybe if someone wants to watch the comments for me, that would be cool. Lately, I have been really swamped, and haven't really had time to take as much content as I wanted to. Oh, and there goes my mic just cut out because I just accidentally pulled my headphones out. Off to a great start today. But yeah, as I was saying, I haven't really had as much time to create the content I wanted to recently because I've been pretty swamped with work. I just got home from Maryland. Me and Mary drove down there to visit my brother for his birthday. So I have been running around like a chicken with its head cut off lately, and it's a shame because there's a lot of topics that I really want to address, but haven't had time to not only create the content, but to do the research, watch other content, and evaluate the content critically. However, recently I have been watching videos by a gentleman on YouTube who goes by the name Black Pill 2021. And he's brought up some really good arguments. And I got to watch one of his videos this morning, as I was driving home. And he raised some really good points. And I think people like Face and LMS and Incel TV, who think that this is a purely biological, the phenomena of lookism is purely biological, definitely need to watch his videos because he makes the arguments better than I do. He also, has he majored in a hard science in college, right? So he has some expertise there and has worked actually in a medical field. So um, he's got some expertise there, and he made some great arguments in his latest video. It was called "Incel Biology versus Sociology." Now, my thesis is that yes, lookism does exist, and lookism does impact people's lives. However, my thesis is that lookism is sociological. It's sociological and not biological. And some evidence as I was watching Black Pill 2021's video today that jumped out at me that just really made a strong case was that doctors, esteemed doctors in medicine, right? Someone like Face and LMS is going to tell you, oh, well, they have an agenda in medicine. They have scientists always are on somebody's payroll. They have an agenda to push. But what dawned on me, right, is that I don't think scientists really deny lookism. I learned about the halo effect in college in a college classroom. We learned about that in sociology. Attributing good-looking people with better traits, right? Being more trustworthy of attractive people. I don't really think that it's something that scientists really deny. However, when it comes to terms of reproductive fitness, this was a really good point that Black Pill 2021 brought up, is that doctors, right, have found no correlation between genetic fitness and attractiveness or other health markers. So, for example, one thing I've noticed is that the black pillars are always on about my bone structure. It's all about the bone structure, which I find a little bizarre when you're talking about something that's purely biological. It's like bone structure is one of many genetic markers, right? It's one of many things that go into your genetics that affect your health. And you can have great bone structure and have horrible bone density, right? Like you can have well-shaped bones that are attractive, and they could be, weak bones. You could be prone to osteoporosis. You could have muscular dystrophy. You could have high blood pressure, a myriad of health issues, right? That can be genetic. You can be predisposed to cancer and have great bone structure. Predisposed to balding. You can have great facial bone structure, but have kyphosis and scoliosis in your back, as I do. Um, so Black Pill 2021's point was that doctors found no more that attractive people were no more healthy than anyone else. There was no correlation. So in other words, like Face and LMS, who's saying, oh, it's attractive people who have this high survivability quotient. It's a marker that that women can see, right? Like if you have an attractive face, you must be healthier and therefore genetically superior. When it comes to hard science, there's no link there. And furthermore, in his video, he was saying Face and LMS is not a biologist. Incel TV is not a biologist. They're trying to give this way oversimplified view. You know, this caveman brain. Oh, attractive bone structure equals good. And to be clear, once again, we're not denying that that having bone structure isn't a good thing and isn't a good genetic marker, but it's one of many genetic markers. A thing that we find that I find is often ignored entirely by this community is the scent pill, right? And this is well backed by science. You can find articles on this anywhere. We've known this for almost a century, right? That people produce natural body odors, some of which are more attractive than others, and that factors heavily into who we select as a mate, as a species, right? And it's not as simple as, oh, just take a shower, bro. You don't have control over your natural body odor. You're born with a natural body odor, and yeah, you can wear cologne or perfume to mask it temporarily, but in the long term you have no control over that. But that, according to science, is just as important as looks. You know what I'm saying? So okay, let's see. We've got some comments here. I don't want to rant on too long. Meredith C, yes, finally. Yes, I'm not sure. Yes, finally to what, but it's yes, finally. And Windows minus, what's up, bro? Windows minus is definitely my favorite operating system. By the way, it's like the minus world in the original Super Mario Brothers. It's like Windows, but minus. So pretty cool. So anyway, so the point that he was trying to make is that there's no correlation. Between attractiveness and genetic survivability, and that doctors, if there really was that link, that doctors would have, this would have been published a long time ago. And that Face and LMS and Incel TV, they're putting the cart before the horse, right? They're arriving at a conclusion without doing the research. It's a confirmation bias. So they're looking for evidence that supports a narrative rather than looking at the whole thing. They're saying, it's like, for example, he was talking about in his video, and again, I highly recommend that you check out this content creator. His name is Black Pill 2021. He's been the most honest, I think, of everybody in the sphere, because he's bringing up a good point that Face and LMS is not an accurate accountant of history. He's not doing the research and then arriving at the conclusion. He's making the conclusion, then arriving at doing the research, and cherry picking examples that benefit his narrative. And I'm going to get into why I believe it's more sociological than rather than biological. And Meredith C says to the scent pill. Yep. So yeah, I did want to talk about the scent pill because it's often ignored. Yet when you look at research, right, there's plenty of peer-reviewed published studies that show that natural body odor greatly affects how people perceive you as attractive. Also, the voice pill. We don't even talk about the voice pill, right? So, and I have a brutally black pilling moment when it comes to the voice pill. So when we hear a voice, we can gauge, we can make a perception of how attractive the person we think speaking is, right? How confident the person we think speaking is. How intelligent the person we think speaking is. there's an app you can use called Rate My Voice, where you can record voice samples and people without seeing you. So there's no halo or phalo, right? Because they haven't seen your face, they don't know anything about you. Can rate your voice, and one of the categories is how attractive your voice is, how intelligent you sound, do you have an accent, what is the emotion behind your voice. There's so your voice is actually creating a perception of you before people even see you. And that's another factor we don't go into too, but that's also heavily genetic, right? I mean, sure, environmental too, because things affect your voice, such as smoking, alcohol use, all kinds of things like that do have an impact on how your voice developed, but it's largely genetic, how the size of your vocal cords and everything. And I'll tell you, one of the most black-pilling moments in my life when it comes to the topic of voice goes. I met a coworker one time, and we'd only spoken on the phone several times. And I finally met him in person, and he goes, "Oh, you sounded taller on the phone," because you guys know I'm 5'7", so I guess according to the way my voice sounded, I sounded a lot taller. So I guess the perception that he'd created in his head was that I was a taller guy based on the way that my voice sounds. So people are already forming an opinion of you, before they even see you, before lookism can even take effect. Things such as your voice, which again you don't control, so it's a little bit of a black pill, but it's another factor, right? So it's not just as simple as my bone structure, like that's one thing, but there's plenty of other things. So we've got the scent pill, the voice pill, IQ, the muscularity, and I don't just mean are you jacked. I mean what your muscle fibers are made of. We know that we have type 1 fast twitch muscle fibers, type 2 fast twitch muscle fibers, slow twitch muscle fibers. Like the kinds of muscle fibers that people who are good long distance runners have. How much mitochondria is in the cell, in your cells. Blood chemistry, eyesight, hearing. I mean, it's really just that's clownish to say that bone structure is everything. Because I think deep down, right, we all know that when it comes to let's look at it, right, as if we were a caveman, right? Okay, so sure, like bone structure such as height, a trauma-resistant jaw, of course, that's going to be a thing that's high survivability. But think about it. In the Stone Ages, before glasses had been invented, if you had poor eyesight, that could get you killed. Like, you could be as big and strong as they come, but if you can't see 2 feet in front of you, they didn't have glasses to correct that, right? So there could be a saber-toothed tiger or a mountain lion or something, and you don't even see it coming, and then guess what? You're dead. So having poor eyesight would have been really bad for genetic fitness, back then. So if you want to make the argument, that this is biological, and that stuff doesn't just go away. It's not just the bone structure. It's the other things too, right? It's anything that impacts genetic fitness. Anyway, let's go to these comments here. So Windows Minus says, "Yeah, I always thought the good genes hypothesis was bullcrap." Yeah, I mean, and I'm going to get into that later about people who posit an idea of "quote unquote" genetic superiority. But good call out. There is a dubber in Italy called Luca Ward. He is an old cell, but women go crazy for him over his voice. He has a very deep and masculine voice. Yep, that's the voice pill, man. Meredith C. All women love a masculine voice. Yeah, I would assume that that's for most women. That's going to be. I mean, if you heard somebody like Barry White, right? I mean, there's a reason that people play his music when they're snuggling, because I mean, we've all seen Barry White. He's not really an attractive guy, but if you didn't know what he looked like and you heard his voice, you would assume that he's attractive. And I'm sure that there are plenty of women who have gotten off to the sound of his voice. So yeah, definitely. And this thank you for confirming that. Unrelated, Jay, but the name of the stream changed to interview with instead of sociology versus bio. Oh, that's weird. You know what it is? It's because I had a previous stream set up called Interview with Ace Earths, which is still happening, by the way. I just have to find the time with Ace to do the interview and everything. So I think I might have started the wrong stream here. That sucks. I'm pretty sure I did this on the wrong. If you guys are watching this on Discord, I'm driving at the moment, so I can't really do anything. Can you guys post the right one into Discord? Because I think people are in the wrong stream lobby. Because I did see there were people in the right one, and I think I streamed it onto the wrong stream. Wonderful. All right, and White Computer Power says it's over for eyesight cells. Well, well, in the Stone Ages, it certainly was. But yeah, I mean, I don't know about today though, because there are plenty of people who wear glasses who are seen as attractive, and they'll say like, oh, a Chad with who wears glasses is still going to be seen as attractive. He's just he's a nerdy Chad or a shy Chad or whatever. But I mean, and you know what? You can probably have hooded hunter eyes, with a positive consult tilt and not necessarily have good vision. That actually, I wonder if there's any correlation between that. I myself, I have a negative consult tilt, but I do have blue hunter eyes. I am 31 years old, and I've never needed any type of glasses or contacts or any type of vision correction. I've always had, perfect 20/20 vision, and when I was a child, I actually had better than 20/20 vision. Of course, I don't know what the averages are on that, and if there's any correlation. I couldn't tell you, but yeah, I mean, there are definitely like attractive celebrities who need vision correction. So yeah. Did you run Meek's picture on PhotoFeeler? Actually, Windows minus, yes, I did. I didn't get a lot of results yet. I think I was up to 13 votes, and yeah, he was doing about as well as he did for you. I think he was at like 5.2 last I checked. So it was pretty consistent with the result that you got. Well, as I said, I have been pretty busy with work, and this weekend I was visiting some family, so I didn't have a lot of time to follow up on the experiment, but I will do that. Thank you for reminding me about that, actually. And no interview with Acers. Kevin Sorbo disappointed. I don't know who Kevin Sorbo is, but I definitely don't want to disappoint him, and there will still be an interview with Acers. Don't you worry. And I think we will be discussing what everybody wants to hear. We definitely want to hear the official field report. So I will definitely be discussing with Acers in detail the official field report. I mean, 42 HD pictures. You can't beat it. You can't beat it. It was as far as I think it was a great scientific undertaking that Acers did, and I can't wait to discuss the results with him. But all right. Anyway, I didn't want to get too much off of topic here about why the root cause is sociological versus biological. So another fallacy that Black Pill 2021 called out in his video that I was watching this morning. He called out a fallacy that Face and LMS and Incel TV like to use Tinder as the gold standard for extrapolating human behavior. But his point is that we know less than 10% of the population uses Tinder, and of that 10%, Tinder is about 80% male and 20% female. So you have really, really a small percentage of women using Tinder. So if you're going to use that to, extrapolate, human behavior, that's an extremely flawed study you're using. But again, you'll have black pillars will use the pathetic cope argument. And he and BP 2021 was calling that out as well, how that really is a pathetic argument. When I hear cope, all I'm hearing is I don't have any evidence to refute. So you're when you give into that cope argument, you're just buying into that frame. Um, I mean, it's like yeah, like how is that coping when we're stating that there is no actual doctors and scientists have found no correlation between attractiveness and genetic fitness. Like that's science. Black pillars tout themselves and it's science, it's scientific, but when you take Tinder experiments, right, which account for less than 10% of the entire population, and use that to extrapolate human behavior, that's not science. That's confirmation bias. Let's just be clear about it. That's you have a conclusion you want to arrive at, so you're choosing a medium that's going to agree with that. Whereas in real life, what do you see? Like if you go to the mall right now, what are you going to see? Are you going to see Giga Chads walking around with 10 women on their arm? No, you're not. You're first of all finding a Chad in real life is extremely rare. And I've shown this this example, right, that finding a person in real life who's actually above a 7 out of 10 or below a 4 out of 10 is an extreme rarity. Like that, they stand out in a room, right? So in day-to-day life, the biggest mog you're gonna see is like a 7 and like a 4. You're not really gonna see people in day-to-day life. I think it took me maybe 2 months to actually find a real bona fide Chad in real life, an actual 8 out of 10 male model tier looking guy that I saw once in real life in within a few months. Like it's rare. You don't even see that. It hardly exists. And by the same token, finding someone who's a 3 out of 10 is extremely rare. It hardly ever exists. I was looking, so I have about 980 friends on Facebook, and I was thinking to myself, who is the ugliest dude that I know, right? And as I was like, okay, there's a dude who's about 5'5", and he's about a 4 out of 10 facially. He's got big prey eyes, a bit of a recessed chin. He's not quite balding, but he's you can tell he's below average. He's not good looking. And I'm like, okay, who's like the best looking dude that I know of these 980 people? Who's the best looking dude that I know? And it's about, I'd say, of that 980, about 600 are men and like maybe like 380 are women. So it's a pretty large sample size in terms of real life. And the best looking dude that I saw was probably about a 7.5 facially. And he's about 6 feet 6'1". I mean, there's taller dudes, but they didn't have better faces. So in real life, it was like a 7.5 versus like a 4. I can't, out of nearly 1,000 people that I know, I don't have anybody who's a legit like 8 out of 10 or like a legit 3 out of 10. So you just don't see these things in real life. Now, both of them, by the way, are married. So, and they're pretty much married to people who look similar. I've noticed that the attractive guy has a very attractive wife. They have a baby. The baby's cute and everything. And then the less attractive guy, the 4 out of 10 looking guy, is also married. I mean, and his wife isn't so cute, but it is what it is, right? But in real life, what you see is you don't see like these Giga Chads going around and like all these women on their arm. You just kind of see like average looking people together. That's what you see when you go out in real life. So it's like okay. I agree. I agree with the results of the Chad fishing experiments. It's been replicated, and I've always said, when it comes to science, if you run an experiment over and over again, and you're getting the same result, that's how you verify anything, right? That's how the more tested, the more times you get the same result, testing the same amount of times, you can pretty much determine that your hypothesis is true. I agree that you go on Tinder and you put an 8 out of 10. Of course, he's gonna slay. There's no question. But Black Pill 2021 brought up a good point. It's such a small percentage of women who are on those things that behavior is going to work differently to real life. And also, when you're on those things, you don't have things like the voice pill and the scent pill and other things that certainly matter in real life attraction, which you don't have when you're just window shopping on Tinder and swiping, right? Now, who's to say that they don't meet that person in real life, and that person has something like a repulsive body odor, or a horrible voice, or or whatever the case may be, right? Something that you can't ascertain from an app, and it's happened, honestly. Like, I've met people on apps in the past who, like, when I met them, like, they either A, weren't what they looked like, in the profile picture, or B, had, yeah, there were people who've had a horribly irritating voice, that you can't stand. Hey, here's a hypothetical, and I know there's some comments that I wanna get to, but I wanna just bring up a hypothetical here, because we were talking about this the other day, right? Let's say that you're a Chad, and you've got options, right? Like, women find you attractive, um, and you have a choice. Okay, you have, let's just say there's 5 women left in the world, right? And they're all armed with a gun and will kill you if you cheat. So you can only choose one. Now, there is a blonde 10 out of 10 bombshell. We're talking, perfect breasts, perfect ass. Everything about her, her face is gorgeous. Everything about her is just beautiful, okay? She's one of your options. But the caveat is she has a horrible grating voice. Like, picture like Fran Drescher, but more Fran Drescher, but more nasally and more high pitched. She's like, "Oh, hello there, Mr. J. How are you today?" Like, just her voice is grating and would get on your nerves profusely. All right, so she's one of your options, but she's gorgeous and has a horrible voice. Now, and the rest of them are just average looking. All right. Now, soul search. Who? And you can only choose one. Remember, because they're gonna shoot you if you cheat. So, because I know the argument's gonna be like, well, Chad can fuck all of them. Okay, but if you do it, you're gonna die. So, who are you gonna pick? Honestly, I and you already know the answer. You're not gonna pick the super attractive one, because you're gonna off yourself hearing that voice every day. So, to think that women wouldn't function any differently, like that the looks would automatically override something like that, that's just delusional. Like, I'm sure we've all met somebody who, like, their voice irritated you so much that no matter how attractive they were, you didn't see them as attractive anymore. I know I have. I've actually met people from a dating app before who had an incredibly irritating voice. And you wouldn't know that just looking at their picture. So that's what I'm saying. Like, when it comes to, like, you're using lookism on an internet platform because that's the only data you have to go off of. Whereas in real life, there's a lot more factors. But anyway, I wanna go to the comments here. What's with the ace of spades in the thumbnail? Okay, it's because this was the wrong stream. I was supposed to be interviewing Ace Earths, and this is actually the incorrect stream. I'm going to have to retitle this and everything later. Windows minus. Attractiveness is just a type of mating strategy. It's like being strong and kill your competition. But it's just one of multiple mating strategies men have. It's the most effective due to law. Yeah, that's a great point. It is one mating strategy. Yep. That's why Acer's field reports are so important. He brings non-Tinder data to the forefront. Yeah, exactly, man. Exactly. J Tahoe, it doesn't matter how rare they are. There are enough Chads in every city, so every Floyd can make an appointment with them. Subhumans are not as rare. I am just above inbred Downy tier. Yeah, but the thing is, man, like, for those numbers to add up, okay, and actually somebody brought up this point recently too. I don't know who to credit this to, but this was, and again, this is, this just harkens back to me not having enough time to fully go into everything, and I should be credited. This is not my idea, but somebody brought up a good point about that. If it was just Chad, right, fucking all these women, that Chad would have to be fucking like 100 women a week or something, which is obviously not happening, right? Like, real Chads, right? Those good looking dudes, probably, even if they were like having sex with like 10 women a week, there's still a huge discrepancy there, right? Like, you got a couple thousand women from every city on Tinder. If there's like let's say 100 chads, right? Because we know that those chads are that rare. That's they've had 300 women. It's like, those numbers just don't add up. But I think we do need to. That's why I wanted Face and LMS, by the way. And I've always said this: Face and LMS never shows how many total swipes that Chad he used in his Chad phishing experiments had. All we saw was that he got 300 messages, which is a lot more than like an average guy gets. Okay, I'll give you that. Of course, I agree with that. But I'm saying, like, how many women swipe left on him? If he had 300 matches and messages or whatever, how many women, how many thousand women saw the profile and swiped left or didn't respond. That's food for thought too. But he'll never release that data. I wonder why. Either A, he doesn't have it because it wasn't part of his narrative, or B, it's not gonna support the agenda he's trying to push. Anyway, moving on. Please ask Joe P about Chad when he comes on. Okay. Well, I hope he comes on soon, because I'm actually about 10 minutes away from your house right now, and I do want to end the stream because we're having Taco Tuesday. So, and Windows Minus says, "Do you take calls?" Yes, we do actually, Windows, and I put the stream. I can put the StreamYard link in the comments. Um, maybe we'll do a quick call. I just want to get to the crux of things, but I do want to end the stream soon. But anyway, yeah, we normally do calls. But anyway, in the future, that is. Problems that, due to the halo effect, an irritating voice on a hot girl would sound somewhat cute. I don't think you're being. Maybe to you, man. I know I couldn't do it. Like, and there's definitely people like who like Fran Drescher, right? It's like a known thing. Like, people always rag on her voice, and I'm sure there are plenty of people who just couldn't put up with it. Anyway. Real Chads do have about 10 new foids per week, and those foids end up getting married later by cucks, boyfriends, and husbands. Are what used up foids get when they're too old for chat appointments. I mean, how can you prove that? Like, the people, like the Chad, right? The guy that I know on Facebook, the really attractive guy, like the 7.5, the most attractive person, right, out of nearly 1,000 people that I know. He's married and has a kid. I know the guy, right? He doesn't cheat around on the wife, so he's off the market. That's one Chad right off the market right there, right? So I don't where how can you prove this? Where is this data coming from? The real actual Chads are having sex with 10 women a week. I'm skeptical of where those numbers are coming from. Anyway, so yeah, those were the main points. So what I'm trying to say is, like, but we've seen that lookism has gotten worse with Zoomers. So when I go in the forums, it's nearly all Zoomers who are reporting this phenomenon. They're saying, "Oh, it wasn't so bad for you because you're." They say, "Oh, they call me a boomer," but in reality, I'm 31. I'm a millennial. So what that should tell you, right, is that this isn't a biological thing, because there's no science to back that up. Like doctors, like haven't drawn that conclusion, and they don't have some agenda to push, because lookism is actually acknowledged in science, right? In sociology, the halo effect is a well accepted term. That's not something Face and LMS made up. That's my sociology professor was teaching us about that back in college. So it's not that. It's that doctors actually haven't found an actual correlation, between attractiveness and genetic fitness. So, Face and LMS and Incel TV, while their content sounds nice, it does have an agenda. You could even go as far as to say it's propaganda. And BP 2021 was saying, hey, when you're trying to gatekeep and you're trying to keep people out of community, it almost starts to become like a cult. And that's what Murray was saying too. It almost becomes a cult when you try to gatekeep. And what's the reason for gatekeeping? to keep out people who disagree with your narrative, because they might bring something that challenges your worldview, that wins people away from your cause. I've always said we've led everybody on this show, people I greatly disagree with. We've had people on this show who defend beating women. It's like, I'm not going to kick someone out just because I disagree with them. I actually want to understand where they're coming from and review all the evidence. And it's crazy to me that people like Face and LMS, Incel TV don't want to do that. It's almost like they're getting these young there's these young impressionable guys, right, who are sad and impressionable, and it really is a form of indoctrination. And that's BP 2021 really called that out in his video, because it's like, you see all this stuff happening on Tinder, but in real life, you go to the mall, you really just kind of see average looking people dating average looking people. You see kind of ugly people dating ugly people and good looking people together. That's what I see when I go out. I don't see this like Chad getting everybody. It's like, so we're using the fact that Chad gets a lot of matches on Tinder to somehow extrapolate that real Chads fuck 10 women a week. Like, I don't even think Lakowski, right? I don't even think Lakowski, because he's married, he has kids. I don't think he was just, going around fucking 10 women a week. I think he was just, dating a really attractive women because he's a really attractive guy. I don't even think, who the fuck has energy to fuck 10 women a week? It's like, like the good looking dude that I know certainly wasn't. And here's another thing, Sparrow's song, like, they say my brother, right? He's pretty much a Chad light. He's like 5'11", 7 out of 10 facially. He actually has like the Chad meme jaw. Is dating nobody since 2017. So it's like, how do you explain that? And he's been busy. He's been prioritizing his work for it and everything. I mean, it's definitely like a vol cell scenario, but not every good looking dude is even like, that's not their thing, right? Like, I'm sure the guy could get laid if he wanted to. Like, trust me, he's definitely a good looking dude. He's just prioritized, his job and everything. So it's like not even like every good looking dude is like, even looking to do that. You know what I mean? Like, anyway, hey, I think I will do a guest or two if anybody wants to come on the show. I'm gonna actually put the link into the comments here. So here, if anybody wants to come on the show, I think I'm not gonna do too many guests tonight, but I just put the link in the chat here in case anybody wants to come on and share. But like I said, I'm here. Is Joe coming on the show, by the way? Because I do want to end this soon. But yeah. But in the meantime, let's read out some comments here. So he said, we need to get Chadfish operators to deep dive behind enemy territory and infiltrate the private Snapchat Chad sex feminist breeding networks. It's like a secret orgy network, like Insta Masonry. Is Taco Tuesday a sexual innuendo? I can neither confirm nor deny that allegation in WCP. It very well could be. All right, looks like we have a guest. I'm gonna bring Windows Minus onto the show. So let me see. Why can't I? Can I bring him on? Can I add him to the stream? Hey, Windows, can you hear me? I don't think I'm able to add him. Oh, I'm such a boomer. I would hop on stream, but I don't want my Virgin Stacy girlfriend to know I am ignoring her to watch your stream right now. Chads who are volcel until marriage are gay Chads and worthy of being spared on Judgment Day. Good quality content. Good quality content. Okay, I can add people to stream. So let me bring in. I'll bring in Joey Crones. Hey, Joey Crones, you're on camera, by the way.
Oh, I am cool. Let
Yeah.
me.
I don't know
Uh,
why I can't just hold on
oh,
one second.
I took the camera off.
Okay, I mean you can. I just wanted to
Oh,
make you aware.
oh yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I had no idea. So,
Um,
what are we talking about? What are we discussing?
well, I was discussing how the phenomena of lookism is more of has a sociological root cause versus a biological one. However, there's a guest named Windows Minus. I was able to add you, but I can't add. Hey,
Mhm.
he's trying to get on too.
Okay.
Hey, Windows, can you leave the chat and then come back in? He says his mic isn't or okay, he left. If he comes back, I'll try to add him on. But
Okay.
yeah. So yeah. Had you listened to any of the streams so far?
Yeah, no, I listened to a few of your streams. They're very good. I like them.
So what were your thoughts on the topic of lookism and the root cause?
Well, it's starting to revert a little bit because I'm finding people in like let's say a higher earning hierarchy. You know, people earning 6-figure incomes, the women per se,
Okay.
they're having a hard time because a lot of what's being looked at love right now, like defining quality of love, is socioeconomic status. So you have your people who are driving the high price cars, the suits,
Okay.
and these powerful women, because the majority of women in the workplace, they have a leg up, in my opinion, on the men. Just the way things are going, they already have money and financial assets, and they don't need that. And they're having trouble finding love because they're programmed to look for someone who's a high earner, let's say, or they're very well liked socially. But then, in the interim, like that, then they get together with those men who have all the cloud or the chats, everything that's going right for them, but the relationship doesn't last because these guys.
Well, hold on. I do
Okay.
want to just stop you right there. The Chads refer strictly to good-looking guys. They don't necessarily have to have money.
Oh, okay.
But
Oh,
so
okay. So scratch that.
and the concept that you're referring to, where they're programmed to biologically, from a biological standpoint anyway, to seek out somebody of higher socioeconomic status or higher looks. That's a concept known in this community known as hypergamy.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. So basically, what I'm seeing, at least in my life, is that these women now are reverting back to people who remind them of either their grandfather or their father, men who know how to change a tire, let's say, know how to work with their hands, men who are emotionally available to them and can listen and not offer their advice or their opinion, but just listen, make them laugh, and an actual partner. Because what they're seeing on TV, what they're seeing on the social media, the influences, it's not working in real life because it's not fucking real.
Yeah, and that's a really good observation. And RMR is right. I have a pretty bad echo. Let me see if I can pull my mic out and put it back in. Hey, is my echo back in?
Yeah, your echo's fine.
Okay. Then continue we shall.
Yes.
So anyway, yeah, I've noticed that. That's what I'm saying. It's a sociological shift, because it's almost like sexual dimorphism is like reversing. Because you're seeing with the Zoomers, right? That it's that you're seeing guys like, it's called K-pop maxing, where there's guys basically wearing like makeup, and it's about how pretty you are. Whereas like when we were in high school, it was like it's about like who's better at sports, who's going to win the football game, who can bench press more, who can run a faster mile, etc. Whereas now it's not really like selected for like a guy who's masculine, as you said, right? Who change a tire, change his own brake job,
Yep.
stuff like that. But specifically among Zoomers, in the past, it had always been an attractive thing. So it's almost like, but and you're seeing a lot more like stay-at-home dads now. They're not necessarily chads, right? A lot of what I'm seeing is like the stay-at-home dads are like these like really average-looking
Yeah.
dudes.
Yeah.
So it's almost, but that's why I think that this is a sociological matter, not necessarily
It
a
is.
biological one.
It is, because we're programming both men and women, children, to follow. And that's the whole concept of an influencer. It's to get these kids to follow. It's to program your children so that when they get older, they don't have a mind of their own. They just follow the most popular person and fuck the most popular person in the room, if they can. And if they can't, they're knocked down in the hierarchy.
Yeah, good observation.
So perfect. If you just an example. When I was dating a couple years ago, and I'd meet all these women at these speed dating events. A lot of them were on the rebound from like their husbands, or they had a bad breakup with that was 5 years. They had a house, they had everything, and they were trying to figure out what they needed to be happy, because what they were programmed to think were happy was a top earner, someone who looks good, makes you happy, and all that nonsense. And then there was someone like me who, at the time, I wasn't really making a lot of money. I was making maybe $100 a day, but I would sit and listen to them and take them on a little pizza date, and wouldn't judge them, just listen. And would you know, 9 times out of 10, these women didn't want, all they wanted was someone to listen to them. All they wanted was not to be judged, because we live in such a judgmental society. If you genuinely can listen to a woman and make her feel valid and make her feelings feel valid, she's yours.
What's up?
Hey,
Can you hear me?
Windows Minus was finally able to join us. Hey, welcome to the show.
Yeah, Windows.
Hello. So
all right,
yeah,
guys, I do need to end this stream in about 5 minutes, because it is dinner time, and as I said, time has been the biggest constraint lately in putting out content. So Windows,
Gotcha.
I am going to ask you to be quick. Maybe we can talk a little more on a future stream. But what's your reaction to what we talked about tonight?
Basically, I think that beauty changes from them. The echo is really strong. I think that beauty changes from society to society. I give you an example. In my own country, I'm not really a huge slayer, but when it comes, for example, to America, or I don't know, even in Japan or some other country, I really had completely different results, completely opposite, from 0 to 100. So I think that some phenotypes work better on some countries and some other work better in other countries. So
like a JBW scenario.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Interesting.
But it depends. Not.
So the point I just want to leave everybody on this, right? There was a time in the 1700s, where very overweight women were seen as as the most attractive and highly sought after women. And what the reason for that is because that signified, she was wealthy, had access to food, and was well fed. And these men were genuinely attracted to these women, right? So that was showing how society impacted what was viewed as attractive, not necessarily biology.
Yeah, exactly. But other than this, the weight stuff and shit like that, I think that is more like your phenotype, your facial phenotype. For example, a mixed guy in Italy will not do that well because of history of how society is composed, right? But a mixed guy in America will do very well. I think it could compete with white chads. So I think that a lot of it is like social conditioning. For example, K-pop. K-pop singers are not really don't really have the bones, but they can still do well in Europe if the girls are into K-pop because they get exposed to those guys. They get used to their faces. They get used to their features. They don't look weird no more, like mere exposure effect. And then they slowly start to be attracted to this guy because they look up to them. I think that when a woman looks up to a guy, whether it's looks or status or stuff like that, she can feel attraction, genuine attraction. But the more out of the ordinary a phenotype is, and the more it's difficult for her to be attracted.
Yeah,
that's my idea.
Okay, and I no, thank you for sharing that. I do have to end this stream because, as I said, it is dinner time, and I need to go beta bucks. So but no, thanks for joining the show. I do want to dive a little more deeply into this, but I do need to go.
Yeah.
I think we can, I'll probably do this stream was like a quick, I was meaning to keep this one quick on my drive over here, but yeah.
Okay,
All right.
cool. Sounds good. Thank you, Jay.
Wrap it up. Tacos.
Thank you.
Tacos are ready. All right, the tacos are ready, guys. So I got to go. We'll see everybody next time. Bye, everyone.
Definitely. Have a good night.
Good night.
Good night. Bye bye.